Hi guys, I want to quick run down what we did in English 9 today for those of you who are not here or those of you who are a little confused. The first thing you need to do is have your story of the most dangerous game available. We read that 2 weeks ago, and then we started with looking at different conflicts. So the first worksheet we worked with was the conflict worksheet, where we looked at different conflicts and quotes that supported those: man versus society, man versus nature, and internal conflicts, man versus self, where Rainsford battled things like fear and understanding of what it feels like to be hunted. Then we looked at the theme. There's lots of different themes in the most dangerous game. We looked at a few within a slideshow, which I'll include. There's lots of themes. You might particularly look at themes like savagery and humanity. You might look at themes like civility, humanity versus inhumanity. Basically, the theme is the message that Richard Connell, the author, is trying to convey about mankind in general with his short story. So once you have your theme worksheet done and you've thought about what kind of theme and where that appears, what quotes in the story show that theme, then we moved over to the writing about the theme, which we did in class on Tuesday. The writing about the theme worksheet used the information that we had from the theme worksheet. We started with our genre. It's a short story. The title, Most Dangerous Game, the author, Richard Connell, and the prompt up here. We have this writing prompt. How does the author use either symbols or events from the plot to develop the theme of the story? And so we're going to change that into saying something like, Richard Connell uses symbols and events in order to develop the theme of, and then state the theme of humanity and savagery, or the theme of the detriment of fear, something about that. Then we go into the concrete details. First, we introduce our quote, what was going on in the story at the time that the quote was said or that the quote was written, what was being described, who was doing speaking. Then write your quote itself directly from the story, and the citation is the page number. Then the commentary explains what was going on in the quote, why it relates to the theme, whatever the theme is that you picked. And you'll do that again in this part. And the concluding statement is your sort of so what? What does this theme then show about humanity in general? There's a really excellent slideshow that Miss Barrett made that walks you through this. We looked at this in class as well on Tuesday, and it's the T-Bear method. So topic sentence, background information to your quote, evidence what your actual quote is with the citation, explain the quote, and then ultimately we're coming back to the thesis. There's also a really, really good example paragraph that Ms. Barrett wrote that has to do with To Kill a Mockingbird, which we all read together in class. So we have this topic sentence here. In the novel To Kill a Mockingbird, Harper Lee uses the conflict of Tom Robinson's trial to show the importance of taking a stand against prejudice. So we see the genre, novel, the title, To Kill a Mockingbird, the author, Harper Lee, what Harper Lee does. So she uses conflict of the trial, but Richard Connell might use other things. And then we see the theme, the importance of taking a stand against prejudice. The rest of this part is the bridge to the evidence or the explanation, the context. You should have at least 2 to 3 sentences explaining how this quote came to be. Then you have the actual quote with the citation. Then you have the analysis, explaining how the quote relates to the thesis. Ms. Barrett had quite a few sentences here, but you should have at least 2 sentences or so. And then she ended with one conclusion sentence that explains why this applies to us. And so what you're moving from your theme worksheet here once this is filled out, and we're moving from that into our actual paragraph that we're writing. This is our takeaway. This is what we're doing for next Tuesday after Thanksgiving break. So this is your homework, so to speak. So you're treating it as an MLA format. So you have your header up here with your name, teacher's name, class and date. You'll have your header with your page number. I happen to have it on page 3. This also includes the rubric of how we're going to grade it. And then you're going to walk through using our sample paragraph as an example. You're going to create your own paragraph describing the theme in Most Dangerous Game based on what you're picking. And so an example topic sentence might look like this. In the short story Most Dangerous Game, Richard Connell uses plot elements and dialogue to show that humanity is deep down savage. So you can argue whatever you want. You're using your quotes for an example. There's no length, but you're probably going to have at least, let's see how many sentences she has here. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to have at least probably between 10 and 15 sentences at least. So it'll probably be about a little bit longer than this one because this only includes one example of text evidence. You'll have 2 examples of text evidence in your paragraph. And when you're done with your document, please share it with me so you have it all taken care of. And let me know if you have any questions over the weekend. I'll try to answer email, but this will be your homework for Tuesday, the 28th, whenever we come back. So have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'll send you all the PDFs and everything in the email so you can find all that if you need it. So good luck, and we'll see you next week.